All right, keeping it pushing. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, as we always do on Tuesdays. We are joined by Dr. Jeff Pierce of the Michigan Sports and Spine Center, a.k.a. Doc Rock, soon to be a.k.a. Dr. Pickleball. More on that in a second, though, Doc. More on that in a second. Look, there were a couple things I wanted to get into with you. Number one, and we've discussed this before, and you've told me about secret sauce, and this is a different day and age for athletes and all this kind of stuff. But USA basketball, their feet are in the fire. They're looking for a hero. And who comes and saves them every single time? But the 39-year-old LeBron James, over 20 years in the game. Doc, how's he doing this, man? For real. For real. And look, he put together a great NBA season, but I'm talking about the fate of a basketball nation was hanging in the balance. How does he do this, Doc? How? He's 39, man.
I'm telling you, we talk about the Brady factor. We're gonna have to talk about the LeBron factor.
Like, are we there? Do we have to start talking about it like that?
I believe so, because we should start seeing athletes committed like this. I mean, LeBron just eats, drinks, lives basketball. He lives for his fitness. People don't realize. I mean, you just heard a thing from the coach from Miami that LeBron has a certain way of doing that he's not being told. It's the way he keeps his locker. It's the way he's disciplined. The way his locker is clean. The space around him needs to be clean. He doesn't care what's going on around him. He takes care of his own space. And that just kind of echoes into how he's treating his body, right? That guy takes his shirt off. I mean, he's like every muscle, 39, I mean, he's ripped because he knows what he's expected of. And it doesn't matter what the coaches expect, his teammates expect. The number one person that's the hardest on himself is himself, right? And that's lost somewhere in translation. If it's lost in the translation of how much money I get, I watched this morning, quarterbacks love the quarterback for Green Bay. I'm worth 40, 50, 60 million dollars. I mean, that's outrageous money where it's not about the game anymore. You don't hear LeBron, he quietly does it. I don't even know how much he's getting paid. I don't think he's the highest paid player. I mean, but the commitment is, and to the message to the people out there and the young athletes is that it's dedication. He understands that I'm going to outwork everybody, right? That's the old theme. I got talent. I got this. I got genetics. I got everything going for me. But I'm still not taking any of that for granted. Like Kevin Durant. He's now harboring a calf injury. Does he have the same mentality as LeBron or Kobe?
No, he does not. Doc, the proof's out there.
Right.
It's out there.
But I'm saying there's obvious ways to look at it, right? You look like a McCarty who went through multiple things, and not to bring Darren in because he's sitting here, but he had a mentality. If he didn't have that baseline mentality, he never comes back to play hockey, right? LeBron's has an injury. You don't hear about it. You hear about his recovery. Tiger Woods, you don't hear about it. You hear about how he's recovering. Durant, who did we talk about last week? Kawhi. You hear about the injury too much, right? We have secret sauce. We have all the ingredients to heal you, except for, like we talked about, I think mental is probably the hardest thing to overcome, right? We don't have a secret pill for that.
And that's not on you. That's on the person.
Well, we can peel that back. That's a whole discussion in itself.
Here's the whole thing, and this is what you find out more, is you can't paint a brush with certain injuries because of the mental. You have to know, and that takes time, Doc, and it's like the relationship, what it is to know mentally what makes guys tick, and to, whatever else. When you're talking about the LeBrons and the Kobes and the Bradys and stuff, there's an element to everything you said. There has to be an ability there, but they nurture it, and it's what have you put in to get out, and they put everything that you're supposed to and do everything you're supposed to. For more times than not, when a guy's rehabbing or a guy's out in it, whatever like that, and you don't hear about him, that's usually when he's doing all the right things. When you hear something about it, it's the motivation of a guy, putting in the extra work to get back in 6 weeks instead of 8 weeks. Different guys are mentally built that way, and that's why it's so important to know what makes each guy tick. Now, to the conversation, this leads into our Lions talk about culture and stuff like that. Accountability, not only to yourself, but also to your teammates, and what is there's a certain way, right? I'm sure using the Lions example, you got medical, you got training, you know what I'm saying, and your scheduled appointment at 8, you better be there like 7:30, 7:45. That's good. You're not wandering in right at 8 o'clock or a little bit after 8, because you're taking this stuff. That's where it starts, the mentality, where it goes to. But it's also, like Doc said, the medical stuff's fine, but you also have to get into the mentality of that athlete and what makes them tick.
Right. It's just the organizational thoughts, like even your thought process. Like you're saying, I have an 8 o'clock appointment. I'm the guy that shows up at 7:57, but who's the guy that shows up at 7:45? It's stuff like that. Is that what makes success? Possibly. And we talked about Brady. We talked about Kobe. There's people like I always use the Draper factor. The guy had talent, but he had work ethic way above his talent, and that's not an insult. That's a total compliment to him. Which
makes it easier, to your point, is that like Stevie and Draper, for guys like myself, you just do what they do. That's the question. It gets easy in a locker room with that sort of culture of how do you learn how to do that? Because I think now more in sports, the way that kids are trained and coming up, they have more of that mentality of what they need to do, because nutrition and diet and all workout and stuff is better. But it's also important when you got everybody on the same page. And I always go back to the Lions. There's not 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in that weight room or whatever. There's 40 guys in that weight room. That says a lot.
It's competing. It's the culture.
Talk with Dr. Jeff Pierce here, our injury insider. And I had to ask him about that because, again, when they were up against it and somebody had to save them, it's 39-year-old. And look, guys, everyone put down the sword. You're already starting with it in the chat thread and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. All I'm trying to do is tell you the man is 39. He saved Team USA's ass the other night against Germany. Like, that's what he did. That happened. And I have not, other than Tom Brady and LeBron in my lifetime, to do what they're doing at this age. Why is that lost, Doc? Why do we not recognize that?
Because it's not the common ground. We're thinking of them as phenoms, outliers. But like I've predicted, we're hopefully going to continue to see that whole method of aging, isn't it? It's you're almost self-defeating yourself. Unless you have a bad injury or something like that, all these guys are starting to understand it more. And you have 2 great leaders that have shown the way and proven success. But there's other middle-of-the-road guys that were like maybe bench players that are working hard enough to be in the lineup. So there's all different divisions that you're seeing. There's other players, like I was watching baseball yesterday. A 10-year veteran in baseball is like celebrated, right? So like it's happening more commonly because we are, the post game isn't about how many beers you're drinking at the bar. It's about the fitness. And, I'm friendly with the nutritionist for the Red Wings, and we're talking about how we're going to enter the next season a little bit different, a little bit more aggressive. Maybe we do have a little bit more of this secret sauce. And, what can you do from a nutritional standpoint? And people are having, they're more aware of it. So you're going to start seeing it even more. I think it's going to be more commonplace that we're not like talking about like it's some, crazy outlying thing. I think it's going to be much more commonplace.
Mike O in the chat, memo to Neil, Brady is washed up and retired. Okay, Michael. Like, he wasn't out there winning Super Bowls at 44 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see that. And I can't get past that. I get a text that says, memo to Neil, Brady is washed up and retired. We've never seen this before.
Right. We got to talk about his career.
Like, it's wild. And the LeBron thing, that I don't know, Doc. So I'm getting a little too worked up about it. I don't know why.
LeBron's motivated to play with his son, too. I wish his son was playing a little bit better to make him more justified.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I want to talk to you about this, too. I did some traveling with my son. I brought him with me to work down in South Florida this past weekend. And I know it's a hot-button topic, and this is where I like the fact that you come here and sit on our show on Big D Energy, because I can monopolize you like that.
There you go.
I'm watching this guy on his phone, like, send his texts and stuff like that. Looked a lot like, Jesus does from time to time. But with all that being said, this text neck thing, this isn't. How do I fix this kid? What is going on here? What are the dangers he's facing, man?
It's a large amount of danger. I mean, I make fun of it sarcastically at Michigan Sports and Spine. We deal with it a lot, right? Premature. What's going on? We're in a forward flex position the whole time. You have that exaggerated hump that you're dealing with from the neck, from the base of your neck down to your upper thoracic, your midsection. That it's just what you're doing is you're training your muscles to be moving forward. So you're strengthening forward and you're weakening extension. So you become that old person prematurely. You've seen everybody in the grocery store where they're hunched over and they're leaning forward. It looks like they have a little ridge off the back of their neck, like you could put a little cup of Coke back there. So what do? You have to get them to realize. You have to get them to look in the mirror. You have to get them off. Ideally, the big thing is, I think it came out that show me a kid that can't get off his phone in an hour. Show me a kid that has a risk of addiction of anything in future life. And there's some truth to that. If you can't start controlling what's going on where they can't put it down, and my kids are guilty of it. I mean, I'm on my own kids with it. So right. I appreciate your struggle, but there's got to be self-awareness. There's got to be TikToks or something in social media saying, put it down. And you're seeing it. Like the biggest thing, what's the motivation? The motivation is put your phone away and start doing things for real. See what it is. But now when it gets to functionality, your functionality is, I make fun of them. I'm like, what do you want to be when you're older? You want to be a hunched over old man where if you grab your traps, like I can go to my staff, I'll go and grab the trapezius muscle, all the big muscles right here. And if it's extra thick with forward and you squeeze it and they scream, that's a huge red flag that they already have issues that they're going to have to fight with. So you either find a good massage therapist with deep tissue work, get a Theragun to the area, or start pacing themselves and being straight up. Like get your shoulders back, get your chest out, get your neck up. Don't peacock. Peacock, I should go sideways. But peacocking is when your head is going forward and you think you do this to see. Well, you've just increased that curve by 30 degrees.
Man, Doc, I didn't have these kids to be raising them, man. Come on. No, I'm joking. No, I appreciate it. And I know you're right. In my heart, I know that you're right. And
yeah, I don't know how to stop it. We know how to treat it. For us, it keeps us busy. But we want to do more. We've always been more promotional prevention. How do we prevent it? Be more aware. What's going on? Get off that, get off the phone. Take that,
unless you're watching Big D Energy.
Except for watching Big D.
And of course,
but you
Dr.
can
Jeff
do it on
Pierce.
a large screen and, be in proper position. You can watch this all day long. Just make sure you have good anatomical positioning.
Real quick, Doc, because we're up against it. You're finna be Dr. Pickleball now, right? I know we've talked about the injuries and stuff like that.
Right.
I had one of my wife's very good friends. Her father's in his upper 60s, ruptured his Achilles playing pickleball. So this is becoming an industry now, right? The medical side of it.
Well, no, but we've been asked to do it, and Drapes has been pushing, Mac's been pushing, and almost all the Red Wing alumni are playing pickleball right now. So these are all my old guys. So if I want to start treating them, except McCarty's not playing.
Why not, D-Mac?
Come on, man. I don't do racket sports. I do clubs.
Gotcha.
Bats or clubs.
I got you.
Right?
All right. So
exactly.
Some of the other alumni are very strong in the game right now, but it's we just talked this week about truly putting out a preventional program. Dr. Pickleball does sound cool, as cool as Doc Rock and some of the other stuff I'm called, or Injury Insider. I think the numbers are proving out. The amount of injuries, they say right now, I heard a stat that football is 100% injury prone. Pickleball is somewhere around 75%.
Dang, for real?
Yeah. So elderly players are at risk, like Achilles tendon. You blow an Achilles tendon at 65, that's a hard recovery. You blow it at 25 when we're talking about our athletes here, you have a recovery. This is a hindrance to life. So the more dynamic warm-up that we can show and do and play, the world's getting more competitive. I mean, Zetterberg opened up the new place in Sterling Heights with a version of pickleball, and that's even a faster paced game. So the risk factor, it's not the game, it's how you prepare for the game. And these people are, they're working people, or they're like, I walk 2 miles a day. Walking 2 miles a day is like telling me I stretch for golf when I hit 2 balls off the first tee. I mean, that's not a program. So what we're looking at, is it Dr. Pickleball? Is it Woodward Sports and Dr. Pickleball? I think that's my next generation of my life, because I'm in that age group of decade that I want to help prevent at that level. I mean, I've done it through the decades and through my kids, but I think I'm being forced to all my friends and alumni that we got to do some more prevention and help Medicare not spend what they're crying about, a 26%
Well,
increase.
yeah, I was going to say, like, the pickleball thing, and because you've made your thoughts on insurance companies known out there that resonated with the people in the chat. Now, I'm not asking you to comment on this.
Start doing that.
But the pickleball community net injury rate, I know the insurance companies are really excited about that. No, I'm just kidding. Doc, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
they may put pickleball like you can't jump out of a plane after the age of 50 or get a life insurance policy.
No, but
maybe
Doc,
pickleball.
But Doc, we certainly do appreciate the time every Tuesday, man. And look, I know we've touched on something that's in your life today here. So thanks for being there and let me monopolize your time like that.
Always.
My insurance company will send you a check.
No insurance company talk today.
I think it was something in a quote with fire truck or something like that.
That's what it was.
Something
All right,
like that.
Appreciate the time.
So,
That'll do it.
We'll start pushing it. Maybe we'll switch the back with Dr. Pickleball.
Dr. Pickleball, I like it.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insight with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that I trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.